Hello and welcome to Read with Hadini. I am Omoshali Adeyanju, your host and fellow book lover. This is a space where I share my reading experiences, where I read with my audience, where I share the lessons I have learned and the fascinating insights I have discovered in the books I read. So whether you're an avid reader, a book lover, or you're just looking for your next great book, you're in the right place and you're in the right space. Let's dive into today's read and explore the wisdom packed in this book together. Welcome once again. On today's episode, we'll be moving on from the last episode. On the last episode, we started a new read and a new chapter, and that is self discipline and responsibility, where we talked about different emotions, how to control your emotions, how to not allow negative emotions in your life, how to take responsibility of your life, how to be cautious of your attitude, your character, your behavior around people, because this will greatly influence how you're perceived by people around you and in the society. So, moving on today, we're going to complete this chapter. So, let's dive in. The antidote to negative emotions. The antidote to negative emotions. The fastest and most dependable way to eliminate negative emotions is to immediately say, I am responsible. Whether something happens that triggers anger or a negative reaction of any kind, quickly neutralize the feelings of negativity by saying, I am responsible. I I want to say that I started doing this past week. We started this chapter on the last episode, and ever since that last time, I begin to take note of things that happen around me, the things I do. Maybe for example, I am cooking and I know that I did not place a bowl properly on the kitchen slab, and the bowl falls down and the content splits or spills on the floor. Before, prior to reading this chapter, I would have eased, I would have been hungry, I would have like, oh, why is this happening? But I find out that I now tell myself that I'm responsible for this. You should have placed it very well. And before I know it, I there's no negative emotions. I'm not angry at myself. I'm not angry at the bowl. I'm not angry at the content being spilled on the floor. Because I now take responsibility, I packed the contest, sweep it, mop the floor, and I move on with my cooking as if nothing has happened. So this is one of the advantages of actually reading and learning new lessons. The law of substitution says that you can substitute a positive thought for a negative one. You can substitute a positive thought for a negative one. Since your mind can hold only one thought at a time, when you deliberately choose the positive thoughts, I am responsible, you cancel out any other thoughts or emotion at that moment, like I did when I took responsibility for spilling the content of the bowl because I told myself that I did not place the bowl properly on the kitchen slab. So I was able to cancel out any sort of anger or sadness that might want to come at that moment. So it is not possible to accept responsibility and remain angry at the same time. Yeah, when you take responsibility for things, it's like you diffuse any anger that might want to rise as a result of that situation. Like immediately, it's like there's a problem, there's a solution, there's a fix already. So we move on. It is not possible to accept responsibility without becoming calm, clear, positive, and focused once more. As long as you are blaming someone else for something in your life that you don't like, you will remain a mental child. You continue to see yourself as small and helpless, like a victim. You continue to lash out. However, when you begin to accept responsibility for everything that begins or everything that happens to you, rather, you transform yourself into a mental adult. So there are two things, a mental child and a mental adult. A mental child is someone that sees themselves as a victim, as helpless, and that tend to give in to negative emotions that lash out to people, that lash out to unpleasant situation around them. That person is a mental child, while a mental adult is someone that sees themselves as responsible for their life. They are responsible for their reaction to things, not necessarily responsible for everything that happens to us in life, because there are a lot of things that are not within our control, right? There's a lot of things that we cannot control that happens to us. But what's the where our being responsible comes to play is that we choose how we react to this situation. We choose what we say. We choose how we behave. We choose our attitude, and that is what makes us a mental adult. We are in charge of our decision. We are in charge of our responses. We are in charge of our actions, and we are no longer a victim. In Alcoholics Anonymous, people who are having problems with drinking attend meetings with others going through the same situation. What they have found is that until the individual accepts responsibility for his or her problems, both with alcohol and in other areas of life, no progress is possible. But after the person accepts responsibility, everything is possible. This is true with almost every difficult situation in life in which you project your happiness onto other people or factors outside yourself. So we can see that taking responsibility for things, for behavior is even a step to finding solution. It's a step to bring free from whatever it is that we are going through, right? Money and emotions. This is a very, very, very interesting aspect. Money and emotions. Many of our biggest problems and concerns in life have to do with money, sincerely. Earning it, spending it, investing it, and especially losing it. As a result, many of our negative emotions are associated with money in some way. However, the fact that you are responsible for your financial life, you choose, you decide, you're in charge, you cannot blame your financial problems or situation on other people. You are in the driver's seat. So, it is only when you accept responsibility for your income, who choose to accept the job you're working at, your bills, who spend the money that puts you into debt, your investments, who made those decisions. Can you move from being an economic child to an economic adult? So we have two different angle: being a mental child, being an economic child, being a mental adult, and being an economic adult. Responsibility and control. There is a direct relationship between the acceptance of responsibility and the amount of personal control you feel you have over your life. This means that the more you accept responsibility, the greater sense of control you experience. There is also a direct relationship between the amount of control you feel you have and how positive you feel. The more you feel that you have a high sense of control in the important areas of your life, the more positive and happy you are in everything you do. When you accept responsibility, you feel strong, powerful, and purposeful. Accepting responsibility eliminates the negative emotions that rob you of happiness and contentment. So, in every situation, the antidote to negative emotions is to say, I am responsible. Then look into the situation to find the reasons why you are responsible for what happened to you or for what is going on. When you tell yourself that you're responsible, then you begin to find solution. You begin to find the reasons why you are responsible. Like I said earlier, taking responsibility will open your eyes to different ways of solving a particular problem. Now there are no negative emotions, you're not angry, you're not blaming, you're not lashing out on anybody. Now you're calm. Now you're able to sit with yourself and say, okay, what can I do to make the situation better? How can I move on from this? Your intelligence is like a double-edged sword. It can cut in either direction. You can use your intelligence to rationalize, justify, and blame other people for things you are not happy about. Or you can use your intelligence to find reasons why you're responsible for what happened and then take action. Like I said earlier, take action to solve the problem or resolve the situation. You can make excuses or you can make progress. It is yours to choose. Even if an accident has occurred, such as your car being damaged in the parking lot while you're at work, you may not be legally at fault for the accident, but you are still responsible for your responses, for how you behave as a result of what happened. Never complain, never explain. Never complain, never explain. The mark of the leader, the truly superior person, is that he or she accepts complete responsibility for the situation. It is not possible to imagine a true leader who whines and complains rather than taking action when problems and difficulties arise. This sense of responsibility is the mark of the highly developed personality. You take responsibility for your life by resolving in advance that you will not become upset or angry over something that you cannot affect or change. Just make that decision from today forward that I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to be upset about things I cannot change. For example, now I cannot single-handedly change the economic situation of my country. I cannot single-handedly start creating job, and unless I want to go into entrepreneurship, and that would take a long while before you start employing more people. And I can't increase my height. I can't do anything about my complexion. I can't do anything about my weight. Maybe try to shed some weight, try to lose some weight here and there. I can't. My appearance, my physiology, my physical appearances, there are. I can't to some extent do a lot about it. I can't change a lot of things. So I have come to terms with okay, things I cannot change. I'm not going to get angry at it. I'm not going to be angry about things I cannot change. So just as you do not become angry about the weather, you cannot become angry because it's raining excessively. You cannot become angry because it's so sunny. You only look for ways to mitigate the intensity of the sun affecting you whenever you step out of your house, either by using an umbrella, using your sunglasses, or you don't go out when the sun is when the intensity is very high. So you do not become angry over situations and circumstances over which you have no control. So furthermore, you especially do not allow yourself to be angry and unhappy in the presence because of unhappy experiences or situations from the past. You know, there are times that we cast our mind back to things that have happened to us in the past, maybe past hurts, past betrayals, past frustrations, the things that have gone wrong, the mistakes that we made. And it, when you begin to dwell on all these things, before you know it, you are beginning to feel a whole lot of negative emotions and you're not enjoying your present because all these things happened in the past. So we should make a conscious decision to let go of the things that have happened in the past and decide that I am going to live in the present. You say what cannot be cured must be endured. It is amazing how many people are unhappy today because of a past event, even something that happened many years ago. So each time they think of the negative experience, they become angry or depressed once again. The good news is that at any time you can stop discussing and rehashing the past. This is one thing I have learned to do when somebody hurts me or when I don't I feel like oh someone is not treating me right. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, maybe I'll talk to somebody about it once. And you know when you're talking about it to somebody, even as you talk about it, the hurt, the negative emotions, the anger wells up in you. So I told myself that if I keep talking about this past hurt, if I keep talking about this unpleasant situation, if I keep talking about lack, Oh, I don't have this. I wish I had this. I wish I have so amount of money. I wish I can go to this place. And because I'm frustrated about it, right? And I begin to talk to people, begin to talk about it. It's like you are making that problem, you're expanding that problem. You're not solving it. You're talking about problems rather than talking about solutions. So and whatever, in the past episode, we learned that whatever you talk about, whatever you give attention to, we grow. Yeah. So when you keep talking about past hurts, when you keep talking about things that have hurt you in the past, it's like you want it to keep magnifying. You are telling yourself that you want more of these experiences. So I told myself that once I just, sometimes you want to let things out. Now, I'm not saying you should not talk about hurt or you should not share your pains with people, but I tell myself that once I've opened my mouth to talk about this thing once, I'm not going to go back to it again. Even when the urge comes, right? I'm not going to like when the urge comes, like it wells up in my inside me that, oh, I need to talk about this thing again because I've been thinking about the past. I'll tell myself that no, Moshalewa, you're not going to talk about this thing. No, you're not going to talk. The more you talk about it, it's like you want to magnify it. You want this problem to keep happening. You want to keep remembering this fault. Do you want to tell people that you were treated like this? Do you want to keep telling people that you experienced this kind of odds or you made this kind of mistakes? No, you've said it once. You keep your mouth shut and you begin to tell still positive things that you want to happen to yourself. Begin to say that to yourself. And that's how I've been able to handle it. I'm not there yet, but I've been making conscious effort to do this. So you can let it go and begin thinking instead about your goals and your unlimited future. As Ellen Kelly said, when you turn towards the sunshine, the shadows fall behind you. When you turn towards your future, when you begin to dream about your goals coming to pass, about your dreams coming to manifestation, about all the beautiful things you want in life coming to you, see, you will not even have time to think about the mistakes you made in the past. You will not have time to think about people that have hurt you in the past. You will not have time to think about, oh, shoulda, could have, would have, all those excuses. They will fall into the shadows because you're turning your face to your glorious future. Self-mastery and self-control. Any self-discipline, self-mastery, and self-control begin with taking responsibility for your emotions. You take charge of your emotions by accepting 100% responsibility for yourself and for your responses to everything that happens to you. So you refuse to make excuses. You refuse to complain. You refuse to criticize or blame other people for anything. Instead, you say, I am responsible and take action for some kind. You know, there is this funny thing about Yoruba people when maybe they feel disrespected by somebody and the person is misbehaving or talking back at them or created a scene and then you find people say it's not your fault though. I am the one that messed up. I am the one that came to you. I am the one that wanted to be friends with you. It's not it is not your fault though. Oh, Jebi, okay, shebi ewani, ebi mini. That is a form of taking responsibility. And I found out that in incidents like that, or in a situation where there's an argument or a quarrel, and one party says, "Oh, shebi ewani, ki shebi e," literally meaning that, oh, it's not your fault. It's my fault. That person is taking responsibility for actually being a party to whatever it is that caused that argument. So that person that's taking responsibility of being in friendship with that person or being in business with that person or being even around that place that has brought this embarrassment, this anger, this fight, this quarrel. And that when somebody says that, I found out that immediately whatever it is becomes diffused, the anger leaves and everything is calm. And then both party can walk away because somebody decided to take responsibility, even if it is in a very funny way or in a way to slight the other party that, oh, it's not my fault. I'm the one that came to you. I'm the one that brought myself to this. If I hadn't reached out to you, I would be here listening to all the things you're saying to me. So let us learn to say I am responsible and then take action of some kind. The only antidote is action. The only antidote is action. The only real antidote for anger or worry is purposeful action in the direction of your goals, which is the subject of the next chapter. So before you turn to that, however, resolve today to take complete control of your thoughts, take complete control of your feeling and actions, and then to get so busy working on things that are important to you that you don't have time to think about or express negative emotions, or to talk about negative emotions for any reason. So when you exert your self-discipline and willpower in the acceptance of personal responsibility for your life, you take complete control of your thoughts, you take complete control of your feelings, and by doing so, a much more effective, you become much more effective, happy, and a positive person in everything you do. So the call to action for this final read of this chapter, self discipline and responsibility, is that we should get busy doing things we love. See, get an hobby, explore things, take yourself out, go on a walk in the nature, read, watch a movie, engage in meaningful conversations, learn a skill. And by doing these things, you tell yourself that I am adding value to myself. I am expecting great things to happen for and great things to happen to me. And you will not even have time to think about the past, or think about what you've failed at in the past, or think about past mistakes or hurts. And then you're doing something meaningful right now. You're not going to be blaming anybody. You're becoming responsible. You're taking responsibility for your decisions, for your finances, for your health, for your life, for your friendships, even for your goals and for your future, because you're living in the present. And when you're living in the present, you are making positive decisions. You're not living in the past anymore. You're open for a better future while you're still living in a happy present where you are in charge of your life and you have let go of the things that you cannot control. So here are some action exercise. Number one, resolve today to accept 100% responsibility for everything you are and for everything you become. Never complain, never explain. Number two, look into your past and select a person or incident that still makes you unhappy today. And instead of justifying your negative feelings, look for a reason or reasons why you were partially responsible for what happened. See, there's nothing in the past that has happened to us that we are not also part of what caused that situation to happen to us. I mean, things that we are involved in, right? Not things that are beyond our control. Number three, select a relationship in your past that made you unhappy, and then give three reasons why you were responsible for what occurred. I did this. I sat down with this and said, okay, maybe I should have walked away. Maybe I shouldn't have said this. I felt that I should have, used these words instead of using this word, right? So number four, select one person in your past with whom you are still angry and resolve to forgive that person completely for whatever happened. This act will liberate you emotionally. So forgive and let it go. Number five, accept complete responsibility for your financial situation and refuse to blame any financial problems on anyone else. Now, what steps are you going to take to resolve that situation? Number six, accept complete responsibility for your family situation with each person, and then take immediate action to improve your relationships whenever there may be problems. And we should learn to accept people the way they are, and then we look for how to deal with people with knowledge, like accordingly. Let's know your friends, your siblings, your parents. Everybody have different temperament, different personality, different behavior and reactions to things. So when you study people, you're like, okay, this is how this person is, then you'll be able to deal accordingly with them, and it will minimize the number of the amount of times you spend arguing, quarreling, fighting, and now you enjoy more peaceful and calm experiences with these people. Then number 7, accept 100% responsibility for your health. Resolve today to do or stop doing whatever is necessary for you to attain excellent all around health. Take care of your health. Whenever you notice something is not going right, immediately nip it in the bud. Don't wait till you cannot stand up from the bed again. The Lord is our strength in Jesus' name. Eat healthy, eat right, take your fruits and vegetables. On this episode, at the end of each episode, I'm always advocating that you should stay hydrated. This is we're in the dry season here in Nigeria, and the sun is hot. And as you're even without stepping out, you're sweating. And you cannot be under the fan 24/7. You cannot be inside the AC 24/7 because it's still not even good for your health. You need to sweat. And if you're not sweating, you need to urinate, you need to drink water. So I always advocate for um, staying hydrated. So let's eat our fruits and vegetables. Like we are in the fruit season now. We are moving into the mango season, cashew season. There are bananas, there are watermelon, there are pineapples, there are apples, there are grapes, and there are dates now. Dates, I mean fruit dates that we can eat now. And replenish our body, our electrolytes, and our strength. So let's take care of our health. So, my lovely listeners, we've come to the end of today's episode. I hope we've been able to learn one or two things from today's read. I actually have a lot of action points to take home. And I gave you feedback from last episode where I told you that, I had something spilled down in the kitchen and I took responsibility for it, right? So I want us to also come back on the next episode. I want to see comments on how you're able to take responsibility for some things in your life, whatever area of your life, whether your health, your finances, your relationship with people, relationship with your family, your friends, your colleagues at work, your customers in your place of business. So I want to hear your comments. I want to read your comments. And thank you once again for coming to Read with Haduni. I have so much fun on this episode. Thank you for staying. And like I always say, take care of yourself, stay hydrated, eat your fruits and vegetables, don't allow stress and don't allow negative emotions, and take responsibility of your life and reactions to situation. So until I come your way on the next episode of Read with Haduni, take care of yourself and bye.